good evening, and good evening, whoever you are.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the 27 podcast. My name is Harry Parr, and as always, I'm joined by Ben Butler and Joscel Manarambona. And this week, we are joined once again by the lovely James Lamerton. Guys, how are you?
Hi, James.
Well, thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, guys.
Actually, before we start, can I just note, Joscel never actually answers how he is. I ask how you guys are, and Ben's the only one that
He's
ever
never
answers.
well.
Yeah, but
He's never well.
It'd be a bit weird if we came on and just say, "Oh, I'm pretty depressed," wouldn't it?
I'm selfless.
No, but Joscel just like straight up like blanks the question. He's just like, "Hi."
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that's true.
I want to skip all the pleasantries this week because this episode, there's something we were talking about in our little group chat. Even Lamo messaged me. And I think we're just going to get to the point about it this week. So, yeah, we're going to get to this. We said from the outset that we don't want to be a political podcast. We've never we've never strived to do anything. However, we feel like when there are moments to talk about, for example, the George Floyd killing, things like that, then we can't just ignore it, and we have to recognize that these things are happening. And in this position where we've got a little bit of a platform, it's nothing big, but we still want to talk about something that we don't agree with. And that is the government's incompetence and just stupid decision to decide to extend the free meal vouchers for children in poverty. And, we can go on about this and just say how ridiculously stupid it is. And, I just can't fathom the idea that they'd rather keep their money than give it to
why in good
children.
conscience would you deny children who can't afford meals?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Meals.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is it's taken someone like Marcus Rashford MBE, who during coronavirus basically came out and almost, I would say, almost alerted the whole country in his position to the fact that children weren't receiving free meals and their vouchers were going to just go, and their families obviously were in bad positions. And now he's having to do it again, but this time the government have just rejected it and have just decided to all vote against giving children meals.
It was. I was looking at the breakdown of it. It was no, like the no's, and I think it was like 319 no's to 200 something, 80 something ayes. And all the no's were Tories. Not a single opposition party voted.
I just want to say something on that.
I
just want to say something on that because, so firstly, I understand that when you're a part of a political party, you have to confide by their whip. So the whip will tell you what to vote, and it is actually quite bad on your behalf if you don't vote that way. I recognise that. So obviously the whip has said we're voting no on this. However, there are some issues where that shouldn't matter, and I think there were actually 3 or 4 Conservatives that did vote for. So they obviously realised, no, I'm not gonna go with the whip. But my issue with this whip is that your MP should be a representative of the constituency that you live in.
Not just
your MP is not a representative of the party. They hold that party's values, fine, but ultimately it is the people that live in your constituency that you're making a decision on. Therefore, when it comes to something this pressing, obviously I understand you can't do it for every vote. You couldn't have a vote in your constituency for every vote. That's the whole reason why we have MPs. Wouldn't work. But I can tell you that I did not vote for my MP. And I
didn't vote for my MP.
Get in down here. My MP didn't get in down here. Yeah, okay, neither did mine. I hear, but I would not have voted for her to then decide not to give children free meals.
Yeah,
I don't understand how you can make that decision, because it's not. It's a decision based on your party rather than your constituency. And that's what really, really frustrates me about this. That's not democracy. That's not what this whole thing is. This government, or our whole parliament is democratic, and therefore it should be the people's voice. You're the people's voice, not your party's voice. And
and with what you're saying as well, the thing that stood out most for me was the fact that the children's minister voted against free school meals. And
Yeah.
that for me is just the
Well-
weirdest thing, because if you are standing and you are the head of you are the minister of something, you do everything you can to benefit that.
Yeah.
So that's like being the head of the FA and saying we're not going to play football.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. You can't.
Well,
That's not how it works.
There's been examples of it in the past. I think when Theresa May was the equalities minister, I can't quite remember the exact name of it. But when
She voted against gay
Mm. yeah,
marriage.
she voted against the gay marriage thing. I'm like, hang on, you're the head of equality for.
But
for
this
your-
is the problem.
Yeah,
This
that
is
doesn't how it works.
this is the whip. That's what the issue is.
Oh
is
yeah.
You getting told you have to vote this way,
Mhm.
or you will face, because you can you can easily get replaced as an MP. That's the issue. So if you're constantly voting against what your political party wants you to, then they'll just literally go, okay, you're.
And that is everything that is wrong with the politics in this
Oh, yeah.
country.
And on top of it, all those MPs that voted no, you then find out that all our good taxpayer money is going to pay for their lunch and dinners at the Parliament.
25 quid a day. 25 quid a day. That's just madness.
Such a joke.
Oh, yeah.
Such a joke. And like, I don't
Oh.
know how you
A
could
day.
go home. I genuinely just don't know how you could go home.
But like,
and
I
just
voted
like-
against giving kids free meals today.
Depriving children food.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or you go home to a house with your children and be like, oh, your friends at school? Yeah, they're not getting fed today. No.
What's for tea?
I
Nothing.
voted against it.
Yeah.
God.
How can you?
And it's a similar thing, like with something else which was mentioned was someone said that it's the parents' fault that the children aren't fed.
Oh,
And
yeah.
God.
and this also kind of falls slightly into people who live in kind of war zones in third world countries, that the only difference between you and them is luck. There's nothing else.
Oh, yeah.
So the fact that you're born into a family that may struggle to get enough money to be able to afford food,
Yeah.
the only difference is that you're lucky and that you haven't been born into there. Like there's no it's
And
not
you've
this
got-
person hasn't done anything more, this person has done anything less.
Yeah, and you've got all those like single parent families as well who like are trying to sustain, two or three kids or whatever with only one income. You only one stream of income coming in, and it's like it's not their fault. Like
And then
that
that form of income may also have been affected by the coronavirus and by
exactly, yeah.
by certain things that are happening. And it's like, well, this is going on, but you're not actually making any changes to be like, we're going to support people that are in desperate need. Like food is not a luxury. Food is not a luxury. That is what someone was saying. Like, food is not a luxury.
I put a tweet out about this and I said, it is literally the truth. What does a human need to survive? Water and food. Why on earth are those things not accessible to us?
Especially in the UK as well.
Okay,
Which is,
and exactly. We can sit here and be like, we're pretty fortunate. We live in a top tier country, whatever it is, first world country, and we're doing pretty fine. Like it's very easy for us to get. Whereas you think of somewhere like Africa, where it's extremely difficult to get those kind of things, and not just because of the country, but also the climate. You can't grow necessarily the right things, and water. Some kids, they're walking like 4 miles a day just to get a glass of water. And you just think as well, we're in 2020. It's not like we're 1,000 years ago anymore.
No.
How, or even 100 years ago? Like, it's how is it still hard for people to get these sorts of things? Why are we not making this a worldwide issue that we need to tackle? Like you see like entrepreneurs, like someone like Bill Gates is trying to do his best and everything, but it's not one person can't stop this sort of thing. And the fact that I know it sounds silly, but the fact you have to pay for food, like you literally need it to live. Like it's just bonkers to me. I just don't understand it. Like Flint, Michigan. Do you guys remember that?
Oh,
Did you
yeah.
hear
But it's
about
still
that?
going on. It's still going on.
5 years later, they still haven't got clean water. 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, how does that happen? Surely that's something you get to straight away.
Yeah.
I think it just goes down to the national living wage, so that the wage that people have to get to then be able to afford food. But it's not like you're affording it because you're actually being given the minimum that you can get to then live. So then technically, I don't know, it might sound really crazy, but it almost works out like you're actually just getting the food, but you're actually living on the minimum wage. But if people aren't getting that and they're not able to work and then that's not accessible, then something has to be done. And Boris Johnson coming out and saying, oh, you know, I voted against it, but I still care about the children getting meals. Well, this is the simplest thing to do. There's nothing else that is more simple than just to be like, this is free school meals. Easy. Yep. People are more than happy to pay their tax if they know that it's going somewhere useful, not to the back pockets of MPs.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's petitions and stuff going around, but I think the thing you can do, which will have the biggest impact, is write to your MP. Like, they've been elected to represent your constituency in Parliament. If you write to them, say how fucking angry you are at all this stuff. Like, why is this happening? This is not what I voted for. That I want, this should be exactly. It's a human right for someone to be able to have food to eat, especially in the UK, which is the fifth largest economy in the world or something. Like, write to your MP, just express how angry it makes you, because I'm fucking angry about this.
But I know you're saying that. I know that's a really, really good point. But you can't always rely on people. And the reaction to this that's just come out recently has been absolutely amazing. I know I read it all the time. Local businesses in every area are offering school meals for children, and you look at it, and there is like hundreds, like nearly thousands of businesses that are offering school meals for children. And that is the reaction that we need, not to wait for MPs to realise actually it's probably not the best idea. But what can we do? What can the general public and what can businesses do to benefit each other? Because if businesses are giving, they'll also receive from in other ways. And I think that is the way to go about it. By actually doing something and being proactive about it and helping out food banks.
Like, obviously Rashford was like a massive pioneer in this, and I think he instigated the whole thing in a sense where obviously what he's doing with free school meals obviously is something that, linking to what you're saying, Lamo, how other businesses, it is ultimately down to us. Like, Harry, you're saying write to your local MPs. Yes, I understand that, but then again, MPs will always try to like almost be part of their political party. Does that make sense? And linking again to what Ben said about how there is that pressure where if you go against the whip, you could, like, your job could easily just go just like that. Yeah. So it is ultimately down to us individuals and businesses and people like Marcus Rashford who, can.
I go against and say,
the right direction.
If we've got to the point where a footballer tweeting about it is what's got people talking, that's when the government's failed you.
Yeah,
I'll tell you now, the government will go back on this. The amount of
backlash from this.
No, and the amount of people literally just go onto Marcus Rashford's Twitter. All it is literally him
just retweeting
places that are doing free school meals. The government will have to go back on this, and they're just going to look like fools. But at the end of the day, in 3 years' time, you have to make the decision of who you're going to vote for and who you want to represent this government.
Just remember,
I'm not here trying to swing you one way or another, but you just got to remember and just think about what
the ramifications and
the government has currently done, because they'll try and go back. And whether you think that's actually right or not. And I think that's we should end it there, because don't want to get too.
Let's bring it down.
Politics driven.
Let's nice.
Yeah. No, but I think it definitely needs to be spoken about. And the more it's spoken about, the further it will go. And I think it's fantastic. I think it's perfect. Like that is just brilliant.
Yeah.
Segue.
Anyway, do you guys hear the school bell ring? It's time for learning with Lamo.
Excuse me, where should you be? You should be in class.
But it's not learning for Lamo this week, because we've all got facts.
Yeah,
we're
changing things.
Whoa. Oh yeah,
everyone's finally done their homework.
Yeah.
It was set about
it's presentation
4 or 5 months ago. It's been lockdown homework, and you're all late and you're all failed.
I've got some great ones. So I've got 2. How many of you guys got?
I've got 1, but it's quite a big one. Yeah, quite a big one.
Okay, 1.
I got 2.
I've got 2, but I've got a one weird one.
So
one
we'll put Harry. Okay, So right, Joscel, you go first, then Lamo, then me, then Harry, and then
Okay.
back in that order.
So, I'm going to tell you my koala fact, okay? Did you know that male koalas have 2 penises and female koalas have 3 vaginas? How mad is that? And then the female koala's vagina, it's got 1 vagina for it to be impregnated by the koala, and the other vagina is where the baby pops out of. Like, why doesn't it just come out of 1 vagina like
Well, like an
anything
entry
else?
and exit hole. Like
Yeah, literally.
in and out.
Literally. How weird is that?
What's the third one for?
Huh?
I don't even want to ask how you stumbled upon that fact or what you were looking at.
I literally just went, right, what's a weird fact? Some like weird fact. And that was first in the pot. So I was like, that's actually quite weird. Like,
Why
what
have
is the third
koalas
one?
why do they need 2 penises? Because there'll be a reason why.
One for weeing and one for sex, Ben. Come on.
Well, is that why? That is probably the case, but there will be a reason why.
Yeah.
That is a weird.
So they can
Yeah.
urinate while they have sex,
I say
basically.
it's not a fun fact. It's it's an interesting fact.
The
is
golden
weird.
shower.
or they can mate with 2 other female
I'll tell you
koalas
what,
at the same time.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Water orgies must be mad.
Right.
Well, we're not
Okay.
PG anymore, are we?
No,
So-
so bad.
Right, Lamo, come on.
So I've gone more historical this time, and I found that the wealthiest man in history was Augustus Caesar, but he was the wealthiest man their wealth is known. However, there was a guy called Mansa Musa who was the king of Timbuktu, and he was the world's wealthiest man, but no one knew how much he was actually worth because it was too great. But Augustus Caesar had he was worth $46 trillion, which I think is absolutely madness.
What did he do?
He was
He sounds like a Roman emperor.
He was the nephew of Julius Caesar.
He was a nephew. He wasn't even Julius Caesar. He was just.
But he
inherited.
He sold all the knives that actually killed Caesar to the people. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my next one. Is that Julius Caesar was stabbed 23 times.
Oof, that's a lot of times. Just to
God,
make sure he's
that-
definitely dead.
I'll stab you once.
Julius
and
Caesar's
another
guy is like,
22 times
and you,
to make sure.
Brutus. That's him, isn't it?
Yeah,
Well, I don't really know a lot
Brutus.
about Roman history, but I know.
Brutus.
But
Where
he had
did Brutus come
40. He had $46 trillion. Like, what was
What are you
Yeah,
gonna do with
that's-
that?
going to do with money like that?
By a boat, I guess. I don't. If you had like.
But the thing is, though, it's not liquid
No,
money,
it's-
is
it's-
it? Like it's such a, but it's like
money and
people's
assets.
net
It
worth,
must be
though.
money
Like
and
it is
assets.
such a weird thing, isn't it? Because what do?
Yeah.
You go in, like, okay, I want to buy a house, right? Have you got any money? No, but I'm worth this amount of money. So you're
Yeah.
taking an investment out
Well, it's,
on the fact that I'm worth this money. Like, it's
No,
a
no,
weird
but you
concept,
don't
isn't it?
have the money isn't like tangible. Like you just
Yeah.
say,
Yeah,
oh,
I know,
I've got
I know.
this much
Well, it's
amount
like,
of money.
it's like when Max Fosh came
just
on. It's like when Max Fosh came on. He said, but he read somewhere that his net worth was £500,000, and he's like, "Where's
Where is
that
it?
money? Like,
Yeah.
I want that money."
Yeah, that's true.
You could take a bounty out on yourself. Like, okay, I'm worth 500 grand. So
I think you
whoever gets me.
can have some of this non-existent money.
Yeah.
Like, I guess, like having that much work. I mean, they were talking about how Jeff Bezos is on track to become the world's first trillionaire. Like a trillion. I can't even imagine a billion. Like I don't even think I could picture. A million.
A little segue to what we were talking about earlier.
Mhm.
I also saw I have to say this. I just saw a little news article that said billionaires have got richer this year by about 3%,
Yeah.
whereas poverty has increased by about 3%.
Yeah.
So just think about it.
Mhm.
Bezos is about to become the first trillionaire,
Mhm.
and people don't have running water
At the expense of
in their
what? Yeah,
house.
literally.
Right. Do something about
Like,
it.
Was there a thing a couple of weeks ago that somewhere in London didn't have water?
Oh, how their water weren't running for
Yeah,
It was in southeast London, wasn't it?
in London.
Yeah.
Well, the
in
water
London,
just wasn't running.
Yeah, the water just
Yeah.
wasn't running.
didn't have running water.
Jesus,
That's weird.
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, actually, quick.
What's
So,
yours?
talking about Augustus Caesar, whatever. Would you, if you had a time machine, okay, and there are two options. You could either visit a timeline for one day, or you go there and live the rest of your life. Where would you guys go, and where would you visit?
For one day or the rest of your life?
Yeah, so you either spend one day there, or you spend the rest of your life there.
Easy.
Is there
I
a
don't
time
go for 1
period
day.
that you'd like to go back to and spend the rest of your life?
Oh, I was thinking more like a day.
Okay, yeah, a day.
Like,
so where would you go for
like
a
a
day?
holiday? Like go on holiday
I'd go
to
back.
Yeah.
I
Where
went
do
to
you go?
Lords last year.
Wait, did you say you go to Lords last year for the final? For those that you don't know, that Lamo is a massive cricket fan, and he's just said he would go to the 2019
Cricket final.
cricket final.
Cricket World Cup final,
Yeah.
and I'd probably just ask
I've-
to sit in somewhere nice as well.
I think I've spoken to a couple of people about this. I've always wanted to go to the original Live Aid performance, like,
Yes.
in Wembley from in 1997.
Live
I
Aid,
can't remember the exact date.
Yeah,
You guys,
great
yeah,
shout.
you're being a lot more specific. I would just meant like Roman era.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like whether I go like for something that's like
Stone Age.
Or-
I'll go
yeah,
to dinosaurs.
like just a
Yeah,
day.
I'd definitely go to the dinosaurs. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh no, I'd definitely get eaten. They'd be like, "What's this thing with no weapons?
But
Like,
you'd be
like no
tiny
giant
compared to
teeth
them.
or no."
If you can remember, they're absolutely massive compared to us. So you probably would literally just be a little bit.
Or Ben, you go
People
right back to the
stomp
start
on.
of time and be Adam, Eve, and Ben.
Did it actually happen?
Then they open the book of Genesis. God,
This is like Adam, Eve,
Recreated
and Ben underneath.
I think I might have spoken to you.
Adopted son.
I can't.
So where would you go?
I would love to go in the period of the 1960s because that is well specifically like. But I want to know in the 1960s. Not in
where
my
in the
country,
1960s?
in Burundi, because I don't know what my history was
Yeah,
like.
what was
back then.
going
Does that
on?
make sense? Exactly. Have you ever
happening
thought
in
that?
Burundi in the
So have you
60s?
ever
No,
thought?
I guess like, yeah, like 50
England.
years
We know what
ago.
happened in England. We know what happened in America. But like, what happened in like India or like Burundi or like other countries like that? Do you know what I mean?
Well, the British came along
The
and
four
went,
the
this
four
is ours
countries.
now, and
Well,
you're
I
like, oh, right, okay.
4 countries: England, America, India, and Burundi. Those are the only 4 countries that exist.
Or the only 4 countries that matter.
No, that is
Well,
interesting
not all
because
countries
it
matter.
was just never like
Weren't
just
taught
never
it.
written about. Like it just wasn't
No,
talked
no.
about.
I think.
And like you think the war was going on, Joscel, but in that in the just slightly before. So I think that was quite a prominent time. People were more focused on that than actually what's going on in Burundi.
Yeah.
Well, there's a bomb being dropped on our head, but it's
I ain't
fine.
gonna lie, my
What
people
was-
probably just like living their best lives in huts
Yeah.
because we
It'd
just
probably be
we were just
fantastic.
bystanders. We were just living our lives, and then all of a sudden, colonizers just came, took us. We had no say,
Mhm.
and yeah, the rest is, as they say, history.
And you find yourself on a 27 podcast. So
Funny how things work out.
it's gone
No.
well.
I think I was talking to Ben about this, or maybe someone else. I can't remember. But like, I think I'd quite like to meet my parents, like a younger version of my parents.
What?
Yeah, no, but like when they were my age.
Oh,
Yeah,
that reminds me of the
yes.
Family Guy episode
No.
when
Like,
Peter
just like a
Griffin
day
goes
to meet.
back in time. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No,
Yeah,
the
you
one
got-
where Stewie goes back in time and he sees a girl and he thinks she's really pretty, kisses her, and it ends up being Lois.
Oh, I was thinking about the episode
Imagine
where
that
Peter
Harry
Griffin goes
kisses
back in
his
time
own
and
mum.
tries to like.
This is getting weird.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
This is getting weird now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Let's
Harry.
move on.
Next
Right,
fact, next
I'm going to
fact.
give you my fact.
Yeah, okay.
This one is pretty themed, so I'm just going to.
Oh, for God's sake!
Oh, wow. Well, where did Ben go? Wow. Oh, for the benefit of the tape, Ben is wearing a Frankenstein mask.
Oh, yeah, because this is a Halloween fact. Both mine are Halloween facts, actually. This year
Look like
will be the
Shrek now.
first year.
You can't take off the mask when you're saying the fact.
This year will be the first Halloween in 19 years to have a full moon.
Ooh, spooky.
And so the last one was
It's
in
also the first one
2001.
to have a coronavirus.
Yeah. The last one was in 2001. The one before that was in 1955. And then the next one won't occur until 2039.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very interesting.
Hopefully, we'll be out of lockdown by that one.
I don't know.
Don't know about that one. A lot of crazy
Just-
stuff happens
just-
on the
yeah,
full moon.
Just about.
Bit of a
Yeah, just
sticky
about.
one, that one.
Yeah. I mean, it's I mean, I can't remember what it was, but someone was like, "Oh, it's the first like Friday the 13th with a full moon." I'm like, "Well, no, there's actually been quite a lot with a Friday the 13th on the full moon because it's like a 28-day cycle. So that one's actually a lot more common. But with the Halloween being full moon, that's actually quite interesting. And like not spooky because it's just the moon, but like weird how it's been 19 years and then before that it was like 50 years, and it wasn't like a regular thing. Yeah. Nice input, guys.
Give us your fact.
Yeah. Okay, my fact. My fact is that in the 1980s, Pepsi briefly became the 6th largest military in the world.
Pepsi.
You told me this.
The cola company.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back like sort of it was like in the 50s or whatever. There was basically Pepsi wanted to try and introduce more American goods into their economy, but they couldn't buy, like their money wasn't valid, their currency wasn't valid with international trade or something. So they had to pay for stuff with vodka. So they ended up striking up a deal with Pepsi where that they'd trade them however much worth of vodka for the equal amount of Pepsi. And in the 80s, it got to a point where the amount of vodka they produced wasn't enough. It wouldn't cover the costs because it was $3 billion worth of Pepsi that they ordered to go to the US. So in order to cover the cost of that, they had some spare like military vessels. So most importantly, naval vessels, which included 17 submarines and a cruiser, I think. I can't remember what like a big battleship thing. So, and in that period where they paid for the Pepsi with the military equipment, that was when Pepsi were briefly the 6th largest military in the world before they immediately sold it to a Swedish company for scrap recycling parts.
What, they all got recycled?
Yeah, all of it, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So, like another
Because what are Pepsi going to do with
buy it off them?
some just? I mean,
Yeah, but you think they'd just go back to America, be like, "Yo, buy this off us"?
Well, they probably tried to shop it round whilst, because obviously when the deal was being struck up, whatever, they had time to be like, "Oh shit, we're going to have some military stuff." But maybe the CEO was like, "I don't particularly want to contribute more to the military, so that's just."
When was this? The 60s,
80s.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it was like just a weird thing. You know, one of those.
I reckon they had like the Pepsi logo on the side.
Yeah, before they sold it on, they were like, "We have to paint them. Was it red, white, and blue, or whatever the color?"
Nice, that's cool facts. Go on then, Joscel.
This is a bit more of a serious fact. So, I read that the Netherlands, right, is so safe, right, that it imports its criminals to fill their jails. That's how safe it is. It imports.
I think I've also heard about this. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently,
The Netherlands is a pretty good country. I think.
It is. It's a beautiful.
I think it's yeah.
It's a good.
It's
like,
very
model
environmental
country.
friendly.
Yes.
Yeah, but like, and it's just
They're
seems
always like
to
top of the
get it
happiness charts
right.
as well. Yeah.
Mm.
It just seems to know what's going on. So
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Mhm.
Imagine that, right? Okay, can you just go
Go to the
steal
Netherlands.
someone's handbag? So you got all the judges just like, wow. got
Like,
nothing
it's the
going on,
government.
have I?
Like we need a crime. We need some crime to happen so we don't like fire all of our police officers. Let's order in some American bank robbers or something. Like, how does that work?
Or maybe their police officers are just so good.
That's so
that
good.
they're
Yeah.
just in and out.
Well,
They're
no,
cracking
no,
down
guys hear
crime
about-
in
then you'd
prime
have people
time.
in the prisons though.
Not necessarily. Oh, I guess it depends, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's just weird.
Did you guys hear about the
Imported
tanker
criminals.
that got
Yeah, I did.
hijacked yesterday?
Oh,
Literally.
yeah.
Oh, in Southampton.
On the Isle of
What?
Wight.
Oh, on the
By the
right.
Isle of Wight, very close to
Yeah.
where I live. Yeah, the tanker, for those of you that don't know, left Calais, had some Nigerian stairways on, which they knew about.
Mhm.
Then got to basically the Isle of Wight, and the ship started like zigzagging.
Mm.
And so like the maritime people were like, what is going on? Coast Guard's like, what are you doing? And then turns out that these stairways, as soon as they got close to Southampton, were like, oh, I imagine they thought, oh, we're going to get caught or something. So, they hijacked the ship. And there was like a standoff for 10 hours. And
I'm
then,
the captain now.
and then,
Sorry, that's probably
and then the SBS, Special Branch Service, rock up, within 7 minutes. Boom, done.
No.
Everyone's safe. Everything's back to normal.
He just said it was a 10-hour standoff. And just said it was 7 minutes.
standoff.
Yeah, and then 7 minutes after that, 7 minutes
So
later,
funny to read.
boom.
Get off the boat.
It's just like what? No, that's and it was. I was reading it. They had like sentry guns down at Portsmouth, ready, like aimed at the ships. They had like literally helicopter hovering the whole time. They had like and other ships that were in the vicinity had to stop, and they weren't allowed to move. Like, mental. That's just down the road, and I missed it.
That's a busy.
You missed a 10-hour standoff.
Yeah.
The hijacked tanker.
Wow.
But that's like that's some film stuff, you know.
It'll be out.
It's called Captain Phillips. Starring Tom Hanks.
2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah,
That is crazy though. That was insane.
To think that kind of stuff actually does happen.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
but it just wasn't like really reported. I didn't get banner.
I think
surely that's banner worthy.
Like, that's
from a news outlet, you know.
That's how weird 2020's been. That hijacking a tanker off the Isle of Wight isn't front page news. Everyone's just like, "Oh, that happened. Okay, right. Who had the next fact?
Lamo.
Lamo.
Yeah. So you know the Great Fire of London.
I'm aware of it.
I remember.
Only 6 people actually were killed in the Great Fire of London.
Really?
I remember that.
Really?
Yeah, well, no, not the fire, but
oh, well, you were there, were you?
Yeah. I used to do a lot of
anti.
I used to
Back in the day.
No, I remember because in primary school
I used to do the wood for the wood patches.
We did back in like year 2. We had like a Great Fire of London day because it was like the something anniversary of it. And
so Harry, you burned all of the blocks. At
yeah. But yeah, we had to call the fire brigade. We're like, oh wow, that was great.
They reenacted it. That's what they did.
Yeah, we had to kill 6 of the kids in the primary school. No, it was basically we all had to write poems about it. And my poem was historically inaccurate because I said a lot of people died. It was one of the lines in the poem. And my teacher called me up like, no, Harry, you weren't listening. Only 6 people died. And I was like, well, that's like there are only about 15 of us in the class.
Not a lot. God,
well, exactly. Well,
appreciate
one death is too many, actually. You know.
Exactly.
But like,
but if you think about this, this is in relation to the fact that
I guess the whole
fire
city
actually
the
fire actually destroyed 500 houses.
Yeah.
No.
In proportion, that is an amazing.
Oh yeah.
That is an amazing. For only 6 people to die is pretty. It's pretty amazing, actually.
Wait, sorry.
It also killed off the plague, didn't it? Like at that time. I can't remember what it was. I think I'm half remembering a horrible history fact.
Isn't it funny because like when you think about history, a lot of stuff kind of happened at the same time. So, like for example, with the plague, did
the plague and the fire? Yes.
Yeah, and actually, we're kind of going through that. I know it's that we're in history right now. Well, we are because this coronavirus thing will be taught about or whatever. So it's weird to, what's going to happen? What's going to kill the coronavirus? Do you reckon?
Fire.
I'd love that. Get the fire engines out.
Wee.
No, give me my fact.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go next fact.
I got a good one. I need to put mine.
You're gonna put the. Have you got another
it's
mask?
Halloween. It's Halloween related again. So every year.
Did you buy that mask specifically for this episode?
Well, no, I was still going to wear it for Papa John's on Saturday when I have to.
Also, because it's covering your face, would that count as? Would you be allowed to wear that in a shop?
That's hilarious.
So, my fact: every year, millions of people carve pumpkins and make jack-o'-lanterns. Do you know the origin of a jack-o'-lantern? Well, I'm going to tell you if you do.
Okay.
Okay, it's hard to speak of this. So the jack-o'-lantern stems from an Irish myth. It was the Irish that started pumpkin.
It was like the Eve of Hallows, wasn't it, or something?
Nope.
Oh.
And basically, the myth is there was a man called Stingy Jack, and he went out for a drink with the devil. The devil, and then he goes, "Oh, devil, I haven't got any money. I can't pay for it. Turn yourself into a coin. And I'll pay for you. I'll pay for the drinks with you." And the devil's like, "Yeah, great idea. Let's mug them off." So he turns into a coin. And then, before Stingy Jack says he can come back, Stingy Jack puts them in his pocket, and there's a cross in his pocket. And that means the devil can't come out. And Stingy Jack basically spends has him in there for like a week. And he's like, if you don't bother me for a year, I'll let you come out. So the devil's like, okay, fine. So he lets him out. And then Stingy Jack and the devil playing up a tree. They're playing in a tree. Stingy Jack jumps down. He then carves a cross into the tree. So the devil can't come down. So Stingy Jack goes, if you don't bother me for 10 years, then I'll let you come down. So in the end, he comes down, and then Stingy Jack dies. Jack dies, and he goes up to heaven, and God says, "Well, I'm not letting you in. You're not a good person." And he's like, "Okay." So he goes down to hell, and the devil's like, "I'm not letting you either. You've tricked me your whole life. Like, why would I let you in?" So he goes, "Well, what am I going to do?" So Stingy Jack gets given a lantern by the devil, and is said to be walking the earth all year. And people hearing this story started to carve scary faces into vegetables. So it's only recently that pumpkins have become, it was like beets and turnips and things. Yeah. So they carved scary faces into them to scare Stingy Jack off. And so Stingy Jack is now walking with a lantern, and that's why Jack-o'-lantern. And so that's why people carve pumpkins each year and put a lantern in to scare off Stingy Jack. And it wasn't, and the reason pumpkins became so popular is because the Irish, when they immigrated to America, the Americans loved this myth. They thought it was fantastic in true American style. And so they, well, no, they didn't steal it. They acknowledge where it's come from, but they really adopted it and actually found that pumpkins were the best thing to carve into.
Easily carve.
That's why, that's why people use pumpkins. And that's the story. There you go. But you guys didn't know that one. That's a good fact, I think. That's good.
That's a cool, like, little bedtime story there you've just told.
Well, it's a bit scary.
A bit scary, yes, a Halloweeny bedtime story.
I still want my kids to sleep.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
I like that.
I like a good myth, you know.
Yeah.
Mythbusters. That's a new segment.
What are we going to do?
We're going to bust the myth of Stingy Jack.
Is he real? Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
I like that. That's a good fact.
Yeah, Joscel, you don't put a pumpkin out. I will, and if he turns up at your door, then it's right. It's real.
If Joscel dies, then we know that Stingy Jack's real.
So, am I right in saying that?
Be the cost of my life.
Giselle, am I right in saying that in our second year we put a pumpkin out, someone just kicked it down the road?
They did. No, they did. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I can't believe
it's going to be weird to see how trick or treating.
Stingy Jack.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're right because I live in a small village where most of the people are old. We don't get very many kids, but every year we get like 2, which means we always have to buy sweets just in case people come. And I'm like, it's like kind of annoying,
Harry,
but
like where you live is actually really scary in terms of like if I heard that story and there's Halloween around your area.
Yeah.
It's scary shit.
Well, I've been thinking about this as well, like because I'm not going to do anything for Halloween because COVID, but I am going to dress up just in case we get people coming to the door. So I'm just going to be wearing my hot dog costume and be like, "Whoa, hello!" if anyone does come to the door.
My hot dog.
I was at work the other day and they were like, "Oh, Ben, can you work Halloween?" And I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "Do I want to work Halloween?" And they were like, "Well,
why wouldn't you?"
And I was like,
well,
but then again, I was like, "Well, I haven't got anything planned." So I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I was like, "Can I dress up?" And they were like, "Yeah." They were like, "The last few years we've all dressed up," and I was like, "Solid." So either on Saturday I'm going to rock up and I'll be the only one dressed up and they've all mugged me off, or it'll be a nice Papa John's Halloween theme.
I might have to ring Papa John's. I might have to ring your local Papa John's. But like, hello, can I order a pizza, please, for delivery? And just get you all the way up here so I can give you some
Boston.
Sweets
Yeah, okay.
I can't believe it.
Oh dear.
I think you just have track and trace at the front door. Can just scan this pizza, sanitize, wash your hands. Oh, here you go.
It's like when we
were
in
lollipop.
It's like when we were in London as well.
Right?
And like how all the buskers now have and street performers have credit card readers, and I'm like, oh, that's a bit weird.
I've been saying this for years though. They should have had it for years. Like,
yeah,
I hate carrying cash. And if someone was like, "Could you just give me a £2 donation on your card?" I'd be like, "Yeah, sure." But
boop it.
It's like that joke. It's like, "Oh, have you got any change?" It's like, "No." "Oh, I've got card though." Like, card reader, Apple Pay.
Oh no. Oh.
Oh god.
I think it's a good idea. I think people would get more money.
I mean, it's a bit annoying if you're
people.
like, oh, I haven't got any money on me, but like they're like, what? But I mean, it's innovative. It's very innovative.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, but you got to be shifty, haven't you, to be, to try and make money in those sorts of jobs, haven't you?
Yeah.
Like
with
the street performers that we saw, they're just like,
so awkward.
oh, I think this show's worth £10, and we're sat there like, I would not pay £10.
I would go as far as say you should pay me for watching that.
It's not a lot of work, but it's honest work.
You're dismissed.
So, on a final point, gentlemen, so we're recording on a Monday today, a bit weird, and tomorrow it'll be a week. So the Tuesday it'll be a week until the US general election.
Oh God!
Vote smart.
And I just think. Well, I mean, we haven't got many American listeners, but I just think we should do a little prediction game and just see.
Oh, okay.
Who we think will win?
Who I want to win is completely different.
Okay, yeah. Well, okay, you can do it.
Yeah.
Okay, you can do
I'm
it.
calling.
Your head says this, but your heart says this.
Yeah.
So,
no,
okay, I'm gonna go around. Harry.
Okay, I want Biden to win, but I've called it since January. Trump's going to win a second term.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm saying
Joscel?
Trump's
Yeah.
winning.
My mind says, actually. The lack of faith I have in the American people, my mind says Trump and my heart says Biden.
Right.
What?
Lamo.
I'm Trump. I've been Trump since. I'm Biden.
That's
I'd like Biden, but like Harry, there's something about it that I just kind of. It's. I think it's gonna be really close. Genuinely think it'll be really close.
Yeah.
But I think Biden will win.
Okay.
Let's
all hope that Lamo's right.
So I think I would like Biden to win, and I think he will win, and I'll tell you for why.
And I'll tell you for
I'm going to
why.
put 2 points out why. I'm going to put 2 points out. 18 to 24-year-olds, this is the highest ever voter registration they've ever had. Michigan, in the last election, had 3,000 18 to 24-year-olds registered.
Is that it?
This year, they have 200,000. So I'm hoping the younger population
will vote for Biden. Yeah.
And I know this may just get on my, people just get on my back for this, but I genuinely believe if Trump wins, it has been rigged. And I'm just going to throw it out there. I do not believe, I genuinely do not believe this man will win a second term without it being rigged. And why I think it will be rigged is because on the day of the election, you normally get the results the following morning.
It's a bit weird in America because people have been able to vote. People have been able to vote for.
Yeah, but that's just like pre-voting. That's just you can't make it on the day. Yeah. So I don't think we'll get a result until about a few days, maybe even a week after, because of all the postal. I believe that some votes will either go missing or.
Well, I mean, they've already said,
and that is just my opinion. If Trump wins, that is what I'm.
Well, they've already found in California there have been fake Republicans have been putting out fake voter boxes. I'm like,
and also, have you not seen? People have been receiving texts and emails as well saying if you're not planning to vote Republican, we're going to leak all your email.
Oh yeah.
It's just like
things are voting's anonymous. So I don't know what they're going to do. Like, oh yeah, I've voted Republican, but no.
It's tricky one, but hopefully
it's going to be very interesting.
Hopefully they'll make the right decision.
I'm excited.
I think whatever happens, there'll be a real backlash. So whoever wins, there'll be a backlash.
Oh
yeah. I mean, there's going to be a backlash no matter what. It's America.
Always be backlash. Yeah.
No, but as in like American style backlash, like not English style. Like
I think there'll be riots. I think there'll be more riots. Yeah.
I remember when Trump won. And I remember, it's funny, two important things I realised. I remember when Brexit happened, the morning of Brexit, I remember coming upstairs. My mum had been watching the telly since 4 a.m.
I felt ill.
and she was like so sad.
I
remember going into college, and in our college we had like Sky News on all the time. So I remember sitting there and just being like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is actually happening." And then
and what's happened? And what's happened since then? Absolutely nothing.
And then I remember when Trump got elected, I sat in college again because obviously we'll get it like maybe midday-ish here or maybe like 10-ish, 11. So that's going to be a interesting day Wednesday.
I remember it. It was so funny because I didn't think it was real. I was like, nah, surely not. Like that's not.
Well, Hillary was winning from a lot. Like Hillary.
The polls.
Problem is you can't trust polls. That's the issue.
The polls said that we wouldn't leave the European Union, but look what's happened now. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. What a surprisingly political podcast this week has been.
Yeah, this is now the political podcast.
The 27 political podcast.
No, it won't be. Well, I mean, we're gonna have to obviously. It won't be the next podcast, but it'll be the one after.
Yeah.
So it won't be the next podcast. We know the result. It'll be the one after.
I'm thinking, is next week our Halloween special or?
Oh yes, but I might have a guest lined up.
Okay.
So also, just while I was talking about Halloween, and I know Harry. So Adam Sandler, okay. You need to watch Who Be Halloween.
Oh, I heard it's like
a fucking good film.
I heard it's better than you expect.
Yeah, it's one of those like rubbish ones that you can just chuckle in the background that I love, but it's actually good.
Should we do that for Nothing to Watch next week then?
I thought we were doing Adam's Family.
Okay, we'll do Adam's Family. Okay, yeah, right. We're doing Adam's Family next week, and the week after. Actually, no, we'll do a bonus one on Instagram. Be like, oh, this is pretty good, or not? There we go. That'll be it.
It's called Who Be Family.
Who Be Halloween. It's actually it's basically, I'm not sure if you realize, but Adam Sandler, when he did Uncut Gems and he got snubbed by the Oscars, he basically said that he wasn't going to do a good film anymore. And
he said like his next film.
He literally came out. He basically came out in public. He said, well, screw them. If they don't going to realize that it was good because it was really good, then I'm just going to do rubbish. And Who Be Halloween is not that. It's a quality film. Great film.
Oh dear.
I was surprised.
Is it genuinely?
I was surprised by who the killer was. I was surprised.
Stop talking
That's
about
not
it.
a spoiler. It's not.
No,
a
but
spoiler.
I didn't know it was about a killing. It could have been about some.
Yeah.
I watched the trailer.
I haven't watched the trailer. I don't watch Netflix trailers because they spoil the film.
Is it like scary movie sort of thing?
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's
I mean, there were a couple of moments where I was like, ooh.
Okay.
But I guess I'm not a great example because
You do like rubbish films.
Scared. No. I get scared
you
quite
like
a lot.
rubbish
Okay.
films. Yeah, you do like rubbish films.
You do
Who
also
Be
like rubbish films.
Halloween.
Guys.
Whoop.
Thanks. Well, on that
Also,
note, goodbye.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. A massive thank you again to Lamo for coming on. Another fantastic fun fact adventure. And yeah, as we said, next week we'll be watching The Addams Family for Nothing to Watch. So make sure you watch that so you can not get the movie spoiled.
I can't wait. I'm running for MP in my local constituency as well.
My browser's good too.
Well, considering you live in Brighton, it's going to always be Green. So good luck trying to get rid of the leader of the Green Party. Yeah, but you're not going to get rid of the leader of the Green Party, are you?
Okay, my own party. My own party.
Where was it going to be called?
The Lamo
It's
Party.
going to be called Giggle Shits.
Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you next week.